Hey everybody, it's Tyler. We're at OG Gamers Live, and I'm back. And I thought we'd revisit the Moza R5 bundle now that I've had it a month and had some time to get used to it. Uh, if you remember my last video, I had the brake performance kit and I hadn't installed it. I've since installed that, and now that I've got the pedals over here bolted down, man, I love it. I love it. I love it. Uh, uh, if you're on the fence about Moza, well, I mean they're a brand new company, and Uh, especially if you're over in their Facebook group, you'll see people post and they've got problem stuff. And I hate to call any names, and I'm not going to, but it's usually the same problem over and over again. And we've discussed this in other video. They they're not paying attention to the facts. Uh, you need to take your base directly to a USB port on the computer. Uh, Most of your computers are new enough. They've got 3.0 or 3.1, 3.2. A 3.0 or above should be just fine. Any any USB port on the computer. Some people have this misconception that it has to be on the back, that the tops won't work. That's not true. The tops will work as long as they're 3.0 or better. Uh, I've even tried this on a 2.0 and I haven't had any problems, but I'm going to say that I'm lucky in that respect. Uh, but to keep it in a controlled environment, I've specifically kept it plugged into 3.0 when possible. Uh, this particular computer, all of it, it's old as it is. Even the front ports right here are 3.0. So it doesn't matter if it's on the front or the back, as long as it's uh, the minimum requirements for what your base needs. Uh, Another common problem is they're taking it to USB hubs. Uh, Usually something they've got off Amazon or wherever. And while the hub doesn't completely fail, it's not up to handling the throughput in a timely manner, and it causes disconnects and everything else. Uh, but like I said, I have not had a single problem out of mine. I've since joined a racing league called Sim Seniors, and not only did I join the racing league, I signed up for a championship series. Started out dead last, and now I'm halfway up the leaderboard. I'm at 17th place out of 32, and I'm not a great sim racer or anything like that. I'm just starting out and struggling. But I am loving the R5, and I want to address some things about it's conversations that people are having over in social media. And I've mentioned this in the previous video. Some will come in, hey, I'm thinking about buying the R5 bundle. And there'll always be that one person that jumps in. Well, if you're looking at the R5 bundle, you ought to just buy the R9. And they're missing the whole point that the person is looking at the bundle because they're usually on a budget. We've talked about that before. I'm not going to cover the whole thing. There's another side of that tail. If you're coming up from like a Logitech G920, whatever it is, or a Thrustmaster T300 or something like that, and you're not used to extremely high torque wheels, especially if you've never had one at all. If you're just getting into the sim game and you don't know anything about feedback or anything like that, uh, based on everything I'm saying, I think you really need to start with the R5. Don't jump up there that R16 or that R21, especially when you don't know anything about it, because you could seriously injure yourself. Uh, I have found that the R5 has plenty of torque. Uh, uh, Boosted Media made a video for Moza Racing on the specs that they use, and boy, that's caused a lot of controversy. But I'm gonna tell you something: don't knock it till you try it. Go try it, and keep in mind that the specs that he gives you are something that's a starting point, and then you can fine tune it to where you need it. I, in fact, backed my feedback down 10%. I took it off that 100 down to 90, and that cleaned it up quite a bit for me. and made a huge difference. Everybody's different, so keep in mind that what works for me may not work for you, and what works for you may not work for me. Uh, you know, if you notice, I'm over here instead of over at my other computer. Simply for there's two reasons. That one is I'm like, there's been a few problems with people over in the group having issues with dropouts and stuff, and it's usually on the R9 uh, and their higher end wheels. Uh, I'm not finding that problem over here, even on an older system. This computer is one. If you follow the channel somewhere in my content, it's not but a couple of months ago. There's a little video up called the Carlucci build. I bought this computer in 2016 or 2017. I used it 18, 20 hours a day, every day as my production computer, editing audio and video, doing album recordings, uh, you name it. Worked the hell out of it. In January of 2021, I refurbished it. I ordered a new motherboard and stuff, and I thought, well, since replacing the motherboard, I'll go ahead and put it in a new case. So I got a new case, new fans, put in a new CPU cooler, upgraded the SSD drives, uh, and then I gifted it to a local musician and content creator, uh, Carlucci. You can find him here on YouTube and Facebook, and really nice guy. And I gifted it to him in January of 2021, and then it was either October or November of 2022. We built him a brand new computer, and he had brought this back to me because he was having problems with it. And we decided to just build him a new computer, and I sold the video card out of it to help go towards paying for the motherboard and the case on the new build. Trust me, the video card didn't cover it. It was a 1070. But anyway, once we got his new computer built, he just left that here. He didn't have any more use for it. And I thought, well, I'll put that back together and I'll use it for testing purposes when it comes to the Moza and see if I can duplicate some of the problems that people were having over in social media. And like I said, a lot of it is coming down to operator error. Moza is a brand new company, and they've had a few hiccups, but it's nothing major. Usually there'll be a little bug in an update, and as soon as they realize they'll tell you roll back the update, and then they fix the bug, and then it's safe to go ahead and update again. And that happens with any company. It's not just Moza, so keep that in mind. I will say that Moza is a really great company about trying to make sure that their stuff works right, and some people get frustrated because they don't get an email quick enough to suit them, but they needed to keep in mind that it was during the Chinese New Year and everything was closed for the holiday, and but they're a pretty good company. I really have a lot of respect for them at this point. So 1 month in, I have not had any problems with this, be it on a brand new computer or an old one. In fact, I've improved my racing a little bit since I've got it, and I have no regrets. And you notice that it's over here on a sim stand now, for two reasons. One, so I can move it over here and test it on this old computer and make sure that an older system wouldn't have a problem with it, if that makes sense. Because not everybody can afford the latest and greatest computer, and jumping over to something even like the R5 bundle is a huge investment for them. So I needed to make sure that it would run on an older system. That being said, this computer still runs Windows 10. It's not Windows XP or anything like that. I'm not going to go that far back. I'm going to say this: if you're on a system that's still running Windows XP or Windows 7, and you got Windows 7 when it was new, it's time to upgrade that computer, folks. Uh, you can't expect to get the latest, the greatest equipment and run it on a really old computer. It just doesn't work. Same goes with software. You got to keep in mind that a lot of software that's written today is written for 64-bit systems. It may or may not work on Windows 7 64-bit. It's definitely not going to work on Windows 7 32-bit. Uh, right this second, it is not compatible with consoles, but it is designed and set up with future compatibility in mind. They're working on it. I don't know what that process entails. I'm not a software engineer and I don't want to be one. Anyway, if you're thinking of buying the R5, uh, I don't have any regrets. The one thing I would say, if you don't need the clutch pedal, don't buy the clutch pedal. That's why it's an option. Uh, However, the brake performance kit for the SRP lights, I highly recommend that you get it, and B, get you either a sim racing stand or bolt your pedals to the floor, because once you get them pedals where they don't move, that brake kit does help, and even the SRP lights are a huge improvement over the stock Thrustmaster pedals that come with my Thrustmaster T300 RSGT edition. A huge improvement. Some people complain about maybe the throttle's not stiff enough or whatever. Well, I think I could add a spring to that. I've got some ideas for that. I like mine just fine. I'm used to it. I like the fact that I can go in there and adjust the braking curves and the throttle curve and the clutch curve and everything else. There's all kinds of stuff you can do in the software. Uh, I especially love my ES Formula wheel mod. I've probably seen the little teaser videos on that. Uh, I love that wheel. Of course, I would like to have their more expensive wheel, but I'm perfectly happy with this one. They do have a new, more affordable Formula wheel coming out in either March or April, and I'm supposed to be getting one. And when I get that in, I'll let you know what that's all about. And the other reason I've got this moved over here to this sim racing stand is I have the new Moza shifter. It's here. Unfortunately, I cannot share photos or video of it until the media embargo was lifted, and I believe that's going to be February 20th. So do be sure to click that subscribe and that notify. So that way you can be notified of the new videos when they go up, because one of the next videos is going to be on the new Moza shifter. And that's it for now. The Moza R5. We'll come back in a few months and revisit it again and see how I feel about it then. But I'm loving it right now so far. I haven't had a single problem out of it on any be it a new computer, old computer, my laptop. I haven't had any problems. That's where we're at on that. Till next time, this is Vitaly over at OG Gamer Live. Y'all stay safe wherever you are in the world today, and I'm out of here.